going on, Sagittarius? Shields up. Welcome back to the channel, Elevate Your Energy. It's Jazzy, your favorite Cali reader, spiritual consult, and eclectic practitioner. This is your next 48, y'all. Okay, don't mind. All right, you got to get your self-care in where you can, right? So we're gonna start off with we're gonna get a couple oracles, okay, for some the theme of your next 48, as well as spiritual message, okay, meaning a message tied to your spirituality, whatever that spirit needs, your attention to be focused on for the next 48, what spirit wants to highlight for your next 48, okay? So that's where we are going to start, get some tarot to clarify those messages, okay? So if you enjoyed this reading, I would love to hear about it. Drop a comment. If you feel so called to, consider subscribing to the channel if you have not. All right, so let's see, for Saggies for the next 48. Spirit, what is being highlighted? What are you highlighting for the Saggies? The Saggy Collective. Any placement where you have Sagittarius where you're watching for, okay? Set your intention, all right? For where you're asking to receive the message, or in regards to what, okay? All right, so first card out, 21, clean it up, okay? So Saggies, this is about your vibration, okay? This could also definitely be about your space, but for some of you, this definitely feels vibrational with the peace card at the bottom. This is literally about making peace with what is, making peace with what has happened. It's giving me vibes of, like, for this is just an example, because this is not ever to make light about those who've actually went through this experience, but I'm just getting, like, spirits giving me the analogy of, like, when a tornado takes place, or even like a fire, right? And the whole thing burns down to the ground. Everything is destroyed. Everything is, just mangled, just fucked up, basically, right? A big mess. And now this is about making peace with what has happened, right? And now looking at it from a fresh new perspective, a fresh new set of eyes. Okay, so there may be something that is either has already taken place, and this next 48 is kind of like, spirit is kind of like nudging some of you who have maybe been sitting in what has already happened a bit too, a bit longer than is beneficial to you, okay? Because this is never, coming from a place of trying to rush someone's journey, okay, or trying to rush someone's healing, right? But for some of you, this period, okay, whatever this is, spirit is literally it feels like trying to push some of you, gently push you out of this, like, I'm hearing self-loathing energy, okay, or wallowing, kind of like wallowing in your sorrows type of thing, all right? Where spirit is kind of like encouraging you at this time to, like, it's like it has happened, right? Whatever has happened, it has happened, and now it's about, what do you do now? Okay, how do we pick up the pieces from where we are now? Looking at the resources, looking at the situation, looking at the circumstances, how can we move forward from where we are? How can we accept, not saying that we're okay with it. When we're talking about acceptance, that is, it's never really to say that you're okay with what happened, but there is a need for a level of deciding that although this has happened, this is no longer going to be a hindrance to my growth, to my progress. Okay, that is where the acceptance comes in. And so it feels like for some of you in this next 48, you're really being guided to allow yourself to make peace with what has been and look forward to a better tomorrow, or a better, better experiences that are ahead. Okay, and not staying too far back in what has already taken place, what you've already experienced. Okay, allow yourself to see whatever, grasp whatever lesson or wisdom that you can from the situation, but also allow yourself to see that this is only things can only get better from here. Things can only go up from here. You see what I'm saying? That's a perspective you have to choose to decide to have. It's not one that's just gonna, magically fall into your lap or get thrown on your face, right? It's like you have to decide yourself to pick up those glasses and put on that new set of lens, to that new perspective, to allow yourself to see, how can I possibly see how all this is really benefiting me right now, okay, versus how is this, hurting me? How is the universe actually using this experience for my good, right? Versus, the opposite, okay? So let's get your spirit message real fast. Let's tap into that energy before we clarify with the tarot, just to see if there's a link or connection between the two, which obviously there likely is. Everything is interconnected, to some degree. But I'm just guided to go ahead and get it out now versus waiting. So let's see. Spirit for my Saggies, Saggy gang. What's the spirit message that you're highlighting for the Saggies for the next 48? What is the spirit message regarding their spiritual journey, their healing? Ooh, new beginnings. Beautiful. Card number 2, new moon. Okay, so this new moon that we just had not too long ago. No, we just had a full moon. My apologies. So there is a new moon that is coming though on April 17th. Okay, so, all right. I believe it's the 17th. Correct me. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. Patience is at the bottom. So, new beginnings. Okay, this is what Spirit is preparing you for. So now it makes, thank you, Spirit, why I was guided to first pull both of these out first before start clarifying with the tarot, because they do go hand in hand. Okay, Spirit is literally preparing you the next 48 for a new beginning, a brand new start, a door that's opening for you. Okay, but you have to be ready for it. Literally, it's like Spirit is, this is just an example. Okay, although this may be for real for someone. Okay, but the analogy that Spirit has given me is, this is literally the same as like you've been asking to make, let's say, a move, right? And although that does feel big and grandiose, this is Spirit letting you know, like, look, prepare. Okay, because you have a brand new offer, a brand new opportunity. You don't want to be in a place where you're like, fuck, I've been asked for this, I've been waiting for this, but I can't do it right now. There's no way I can move all this stuff in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? It's like something like that, where something you've been asking for, something you've been waiting for. This is Spirit's last, it's like a last indication for some of you about a certain circumstance where it's like you're needing to really get ready. I've been delivering this message for quite some fucking time on this channel. If you know, you fucking know, okay? But for some of you, this is like Spirit really nudging someone here, to really be prepared, to really make peace with your circumstances as they are, because it is even more temporary than it was before. And for some of you, if you've heard this message come up in previous readings and you're hearing it again on this channel, okay, you're who I'm talking to. All right, take it as it applies. Don't force any of the messages to ever fit if they're not yours. Okay, however, if you were seeing this though again, all right, especially if it's a repeat message, okay, we have patience and temperance at the bottom of both these decks. That's interesting. Very interesting. Like I said, this is something you've been waiting for. This is something you've been patiently waiting for, but now is the energy of alchemization that's necessary right now. Some of you are really being asked, like I said, to clean up your vibration, meaning get yourself vibrationally on the frequency of what you desire versus what you're observing. Okay, everything you're observing in real time is literally only the results of past thoughts, of things you've thought about before, okay, in your past at some point in time, right? That's what you're living out currently. So in order to live out the new stuff that you want, right, the new opportunities, the new life, right, the new season, the new phase, it's going to be pertinent for you to get on that frequency by way of cleaning out, letting go, releasing, alchemizing, transmuting the energy that does not serve you. Things that you've been holding on to that is not yours. Things that maybe you're still ruminating on, still thinking about, right, that you've already lived, that's already dead and gone. Okay, so whatever that is for you, this is Spirit saying, make peace with this, okay, and be patient with this process, because you're closer than you think you are. But we try to control, use our mind to control the situation, to hurry it up or speed the process of things like that. That sometimes does more harm than good. Okay, that sometimes creates more resistance than flow. Okay, and so some of you are really being guided to allow yourself to see in this next 48, how can I prepare for what I'm asking for? What vibration, where am I vibrating currently that I know is like, if we're honest with ourselves, that is not in alignment with what you want. You know what I'm saying? If you're vibrating on a frequency that is not in alignment with where you prefer to be, okay, that's the shift that you need to make. Whatever it takes, okay, whatever needs to be eliminated, whatever needs to be adjusted, whatever needs to be, recalibrated, whatever that is, okay, let yourself do that. Yes, turn it off. Okay, so let's see. For my Saggies, let's see. Let's clarify these energies with the tarot. Let's see what's going on. Spirit, what is this cleanup energy for Sagittarius for the next 48? What is this about? For some of you, I'm also hearing this is in regards to a relationship. Okay, some sort of connection that some of you are, it's like maybe you're being protected. Things aren't growing or going the way that you thought they should, that you know they could. And for some of you, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's just because this is not the person for you. Some of you, things aren't working. Like, say, for example, you and your partner are trying to get pregnant and it's not working. Maybe some of you have gone through multiple rounds of IVF. Some of you have also maybe gone through multiple miscarriages. Not downplaying or making light of your situation. I apologize for not doing a trigger warning before I said that. I'm like, if you know me, right? My channeling just kind of like flows, and I'm talking really, really fast. But for some of you, like I said, this is an example. Okay, if this is not your experience, it's not yours. Like I said, this coming through as an example, though, for somebody that is going to, I'm hearing, is a catalyst for healing. Okay, some of you have gone through this experience, maybe had a miscarriage, not realizing that it was ultimately protecting you from being tied to someone for life. You see what I'm saying? Some of you, you've made that experience personal, as if you did something wrong, and it's because you haven't maybe heard yet, had this level of awareness, right? Heard this perspective before that's given to you until now. Okay, so take it as it applies. But some of you, that's what this is talking about. Okay, is not being so down on yourself. Stop beating yourself up about things that happened ultimately to protect you. Okay, some of you are making it personal and berating yourself. I'm hearing berating yourself energetically when it happened exactly as it needed to. Okay, so let's see. Clarifying, clean it up is Six of Cups. Like I said, this is something from your past. Okay, some of you are literally being asked to let things go that you've been holding on to. Okay, maybe take last look at something, whatever it is. Say one last goodbye, send one last text message, one last hug, whatever it is, and let it go. One last cry, whatever that is, and what I'm saying, let it go. For some of you, this has to do with still holding on to, I'm hearing holding on to sentimental items. Okay, things that are an energetic tag to another person. Okay, so people don't realize that when we keep things, right, that people have given us at some point, or that we think, well, oh, I might need it, whatever, because it may have been useful at one point, that generally speaking, there is still an energetic signature that has been imprinted on whatever item that is that you have, right? And obviously, depending on where we're vibrating, it's still possible for that to still affect us, okay, as well as your opportunities. So it's important to allow yourself to not only clear yourself energetically speaking from other situations or connections, but also clear space, declutter, okay? Getting rid of physical, tangible items, getting rid of photos, getting rid of contacts in your phone. Like, all these things hold energy, and they're all, have their own respective roles in our life, meaning their energy can be being leaked through these different channels, okay, without even realizing it. So just something to keep in mind and consider, okay? Spirit, any other messages regarding this cleanup energy? What is this about? So like I said, for some of you, this has to do with maybe a soulmate, a person, okay? Someone you've been tied to for quite some time, someone that is tied to your past. Others, for some of you, what's coming through really strong is about you're embracing, like, Spirit is preparing you for a new version of yourself. And some of you, there are things that you're holding on to that is tied to this old version. Meaning, if the old version has to go, so do those things that are tied to the old version. Okay? Only you can decide what that is for you. All right? So the moon did come in reverse. And this is about, things being revealed. Maybe things that you don't want to look at from your past. Things that some of you are avoiding. Okay? Saggy, next 48, you're no longer able to avoid this. Okay? For some of you, if it's been something that has been hidden from you, it is going to be revealed. It's going to make itself known where you can no longer ignore it. Okay. For some of you, that's why it's coming up, to get you to make peace with it, to come to terms with what has happened. Not, like I said, not to downplay your experience or minimize your experience. That's not what this is about. Spirit is not giving this message from that place at all. But it's more so of a place of empowerment. Okay. You become empowered when you stop victimizing yourself, when you stop looking at yourself as a victim and start looking at yourself as a thriver and beyond surviving, but thriving. Okay. Because you've allowed yourself to learn what it was teaching you. You learned that it was more spiritual, not personal. Okay. Then things stop affecting us the same way. All right. So let's see. Any other messages, Spirit? Can I have one more? What is this cleanup energy? Six of Cups with the moon in reverse. So like I said, this is things like repressed energy from your past, from childhood for some of you, okay? This is the time to let it go. Make peace with what has happened. That this happened to me. This is something I experienced. It was real. I lived it, but it's not who you are. That's what it is I feel like some of you Saggies are really, something's really being put in your face to support you in facing it, but also releasing it to transmute and alchemize that energy where you acknowledge what has taken place, but it no longer affects you. It no longer affects your day to day. It no longer affects your long term decisions. You see what I'm saying? That's what it feels like the difference is being highlighted here. This for this next 48. So, and the last card that came out is the Knight of Swords. Okay, so this is again about clarity, things being made clear to you, but it's also, it's like what is being revealed, it feels like Saggies, over the next 48, whatever this is that's being revealed to you or that is coming out regarding your past. It's something that is meant to inspire you. It's something that is meant to really support you in not only being clear, I'm hearing about your path, but give you the confidence required to push beyond the obstacles, push beyond the barriers or the naysayers or the shit that was ultimately designed to stop you, but ultimately to push beyond that. Okay. So with the unknown, exactly, judgment. This is about answering the call. Okay. It's like you don't really know that why something has happened until you see like, oh shit, that was a part of my purpose. That person had to play that role because I wouldn't have learned it the same way. I wouldn't have gained the same lessons had anybody else gave it to me in that way. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the uniqueness of each of us. Okay. And why we meet certain people and why certain people, you know, do certain things, treat us certain ways, and we have certain experiences with them because only that person could teach us in the way that they did. You see, that's why it was all divine orchestration. It's all happened the way it was meant to happen. If it was meant to happen any differently, it would have, right? Okay, so like I said, judgment, Four of Wands, exactly. This is celebration. Okay, making that final judgment call, that final decision that I'm no longer carrying this forward. This is no longer going to plague me. It's no longer going to slow me down. This is no longer going to be a part of my story, right? This identity or this narrative, it can no longer exist here, right? We're no longer able to coexist in a beneficial way. Okay, so spirit is really nudging some of you, whatever this is, it's time to let it go and do it from a place of clarity and confidence because you're clear about why. You're clear about why it's here. Look, the Tower. Like I was just shuffling and it just popped out. So for some of you, this is spirit literally warning you over the next 48, Saggy. If you don't do it, spirit's going to do it for you. And when spirit creates a tower because you refuse to, it's most times far more difficult and detrimental to get over, to get beyond when we don't do it ourselves. Okay. You have the power. So, you know what I'm saying? Take your personal power back, right? Put your power back in your hands and do what you know you need to do. Okay. Make that decision, have that tough conversation, let that, whatever that thing is, go. Cry that shit out, whatever is required. Okay. It may be all of those things. Okay. But do whatever it is that needs to be done. Okay. So let's see, spirit, clarify the beginnings. Why is this here for Saggies for the next 48? It's like some of you, Jesus, and like that whole half of that deck just fell. You see what I'm saying? So this is confirmation for someone. Okay. Spirit is not playing. Spirit is not playing anymore. Someone is really being prepared for whatever is about to fall if you don't do it yourself. Okay. For some of you, this is about preparation. Okay. We only tend to get stressed out about things that we're not prepared for. Okay. So this is spirit saying, do your best to be ready. Okay. For this door to open. Okay. And just remember that anything that feels like it's falling apart in your life is really falling together. Okay, again, it's only about how you choose to look at it. You can look at a tower as a negative thing, right? Which some readers do. I'm not one of those fear-mongering ass readers. I don't do that shit. Okay? I'm gonna keep it a thou with you and let you know that a tower, when that comes through, whether it's in a reading or in real life, right? A tower is something that was inevitable. Okay, it was gonna happen anyway. Okay, it wasn't built on a solid or sturdy foundation, so it has to fall. It was gonna happen at some point, regardless, right? And the longer we try to hold it up, knowing it's going to eventually crumble, you know, you're only doing yourself a disservice. Instead of taking that time, energy, and start putting it into the new foundation, letting that shit fall, just like, I already know this is going to be a bust anyway. Let's just break it down now, get it over with, and restart building while you have time, energy, resources, you know what I'm saying, to do it. So let's see. Spirit, clarify the beginnings. Why is that here for Saggies over for the next 48? Whenever they see this reading, why is beginnings here? What is this beginnings card here for Saggies for the next 48? Their highest and greatest good only. So 2 cards that came out so far is the Page of Cups and the Star. Okay. So for some of you, this could definitely be an apology of some sort, meaning like a return of someone like else, right? It could definitely be someone different that you're no longer dealing with, or it could definitely be um, someone from your current experience, but it's like you're in it going into a different phase, right? Meaning if it's not like a whole different individual, you're just going into a new phase with this person, okay? For some of you, this is, like I said, coming in the form of an apology. Someone is finally, by you being that change you want to see first, also activates others around you to do the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So for some of you, by you first detaching yourself, okay, from, you know, past energies, past frequencies, they will try to come back. They will try to spin the block and have a new start with you. Be mindful of that, okay? I don't I know that Mercury retrograde just came out of retrograde earlier in, I want to say, February or March, something like that. So we won't be in another retrograde for a little while. So this doesn't feel like a retrograde type of energy, but it's still present. Okay. Meaning, just because Mercury is in a retrograde doesn't stop people from your past from feeling your energetic detachment and then wanting to spin the block and come back around and try it again. Okay. So for some of you, that is what this is, this is happening here, is someone from your past is maybe returning that. Now, just came through is for some of you, Saggies, this is someone you've been asking for to spin the block. Some of you have been asking for a return of someone that you maybe, you didn't see their value before, or, you just, you basically forfeited your blessing because you didn't know at the time, right? You didn't know that that's what it was. Maybe you felt like you didn't deserve it. It was too good to be true, whatever the case may be. So some of you, someone is from your past is spinning the block to have a new start with you because y'all are actually soulmates. Y'all are actually meant to be together. Y'all are actually, this is actually a part of your destiny. Okay. Not for everyone. That's for some of you though. All right. Now, others of you, this is brand new love. Okay. Spirit is really trying to get some of you Saggies to release your past because your true divine destined counterpart is literally right around the corner, and you need to let that go and to be in order to let this in. Okay. Take it as it applies. Only you know your story better than anybody else, right? So, yeah, some of you, it's like whoever this is that you're being guided to release, let go of, detach from, maybe kind of like get rid of the residuals, whatever that is, whether it's like a, just starting that whole process of disconnect and detachment and all that, or others of you, this is, you've done a lot of that, but you're still holding on to, like, let's say a hoodie or a t-shirt or a necklace that someone gave you, right? This is the time to get rid of those last little residual things because maybe this new person that's coming in, they're not having that. Okay. You need to allow yourself to start fresh, start brand fucking new. Okay. Completely done with the old to let in the new. All right. Let's see. Can I get one more spirit for this beginnings card for Saggies for the next 48? One more card regarding this energy, what this is for Saggies for the next 48. This a person. We also have Sagittarius energy here as well as Cancer. 10 of Wands tried to come out. Okay. So like I said, this is definitely feels like an energy of, letting go of all that's been burdening you, all that's been holding you down. Okay. Page of Swords. All right. So this could definitely be some type of communication, just maybe simply a talk, a conversation. Okay. A message. That could simply be what this is. Just, the basic communication coming through, a phone call. Okay. That you may want to be prepared for. Okay. Letting you know, like, get yourself ready. And some of you, this is coming through as a warning right now. Okay. That some of you, someone is going to lay it on thick. I'm hearing lay on this apology real fucking thick. And you need to be mindful if you've already made the decision that this is no longer in alignment. I've outgrown this. It's not for me. Whatever, I'm done. You need to stand 10 toes on that and get your energy in in such a way, get it, collect yourself, okay, in such a way to where when this person tries to come back to you and lay on this apology super fucking thick, you already know, you already aware, and you're, and you're where you need to be, okay, on your motherfucking square, to where this person cannot knock you, they can't shake you, they can't get a reaction out of you, they can't do none of that, they cannot throw you fucking off. Okay. For some of you, that is the point here, because once you master your vibration in that way against people that are specifically intentionally trying to throw you off, that is when you're ready. You show the universe, I'm ready for what I'm asking for. Okay. And that's when it's allowed to come in. Okay. What you've been asking for, what you've been wishing for, what you know is destined for you, what you know you deserve, that's when it's like, okay, all right, collective is ready. Saggy is ready. Okay. Saggy, this is, Spirit saying get ready. The message is coming. The communication is, it's here, right? Next 48, whatever this is. Okay. So Saggies, that's what I have for you. I trust that this reading will reach those that needs the message. Okay, if that happens to be you watching this, I'm so grateful for you being here, for your presence. Please take care of yourself, stay hydrated. All right, make time to ground, get out in nature. Okay, clear your energy, and yeah, consider subscribing to the channel if you've not. Also check out my beacons page for any of my current offerings. I'm also running a April flash sale for 3-question $22 reading. Okay, pretty much all of the, whatever topic you like. But I strongly recommend spirit readings as well as self-development, focusing on yourself, because when you work on you, everything else outside of you has no choice but to follow. So I love y'all so much. Until next time, outie.